Hello lovely people, how are you all doing today? It's a warm one. It's the very last day of June and the very first day of Wimbledon. So when I'm not talking to you all, the radio will be on. Yeah, it's the very last day of June. So, garden wise, the sunny bed, this has been planted 5 weeks now. The pots, they've all been planted 4 weeks. And it's high time I gave the tomatoes some care. They were, you can't see way down there, they have had their first tie-in and the first bit of the side shoot pinching. But I haven't done anything with them for a couple of weeks or so. I'm going to put my apron on in case I get filthy. Don't want to mess my frock up. Yeah, I haven't touched them for, I think it's about 2 weeks. They've gone mad. I think this bit of the sunny bed is the perfect spot for them because they are pretty much getting sun all day. Yeah, they're monsters. How tall are we? 2-3 feet. Maybe I should let me give you a long shot of them to start with so you can get an idea of what I'm playing with today, and then we'll come back afterwards when I've done all the work and we'll see them again. Yes, they have made a bit of a jungle. I'll be attending to that end in a minute too because the cucumbers need some care, but yeah, a bit of a jungle, and there are there are beans under there too, so they do need some proper tomato cares. Let's get on. It's my favourite job in the garden. It's one of the reasons I love growing tomatoes, apart from the fact that they taste blooming lovely and I use them in so much of my cooking. One of the reasons is because they do require that hands-on care, and not that I need an excuse, but that excuse to get just really stuck in with the plants, probably, on a weekly basis. I'm not going to use my gloves, don't know why I've got them. Yeah, it's always a delight. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to do some side shoot removal, some pruning, some spraying. Anyone who's been watching for a while will know what I'm about to do, and some tying in. The tying in is really important because these plants, the plants themselves are going to keep getting taller. Sorry, I should have said the varieties Gardener's Delight, bog standard. I didn't grow any of my sort of really special ones this year because I didn't know if I was going to get planting them, and that seed is precious. So bog standard Gardener's Delight, it's an indeterminate variety, which means it will get to an indeterminate height, as opposed to a determinate variety, which will get so tall and then it's a bush basically. So the indeterminate are also called cordon varieties. Determinate are bush. The indeterminate is perfect for this garden in particular because it's a small space. So if I had bush varieties, I just wouldn't have the space to put those bushes in. I'm focusing on going up, which is why they've got such tall poles. So tying them in is really important because they're going to keep going up and up and up. And then once that fruit comes, and it will, I've got flowers and I've got the tiniest little, it's smaller than a marble sized fruits forming. Those fruits will get heavy. These plants will be really heavy. So they need good support right from the outset. So, tying in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just work on this one plant. I might bring you in a bit closer. I'm going to do all the jobs on this one plant, but that's not how I normally do it. I would normally do one job, say pinching out through all of them, and then come back to the beginning and do the tying in through all of them, and then come back to the beginning and do the spraying through all of them. Oh, and the leaf pruning through all of them. It's just more methodical. That's how my brain works. But I'm just going to show you on one. So let's get you tied in first of all. It's probably going to need, let me bring you in a bit so you can see this is the one. It's really hard for me to see what you're seeing today because it's so bright. Hold on, I might tip you down a bit. Is that okay for you? Are you comfortable there? This one, yeah. So, tying it in. Now, if I was being a good girl and a good gardener, I'd probably do figure of 8 ties. Right, oh, let me just see where we are down there. I can't be bothered, so I'm literally just going to tie a loop around both. Not too tight, because it is that stem. It's going to fatten up as it grows. By figure of 8, what I mean is, oh, let's do one here. Go round the pole, make a cross on the side of the pole, then come around the front of the plant. It's supposed to stop it from rubbing quite so much. That will do. Now, taking out the side shoots. If I didn't take the side shoots out, it's not a disaster. It just means that I'm going to get these crazy wild plants that will, just encroach on absolutely everything else. If you've got tons of space, you might like that. But I like to take my shoots out. I want to encourage that upward growth. I don't want it to be growing out sideways. I don't have the space. When they're really little, I just nip them out with my thumb and forefinger. But because I haven't done my tomato pears for a while, they're quite big, so I'm taking out with secateurs. I'll show you where I've done it in a second. Now, of course, this gorgeous healthy side shoot, you could root it. You can actually pop it in some compost, root it, and get yourself a whole extra free plant. So if you've got a space in your garden and you are taking your shoots out, especially if it's quite early in the season, if you were doing this, sort of beginning of June, middle of June, there's plenty of time for this to root, become an extra plant, and then you get extra harvest. Fantastic! This is really useful if you've had a bit of a disaster with your germination and maybe you've only ended up with 5 plants. Use your side shoots to get more plants for free from that one tiny initial seed. Brilliant. So where did I take that from? It's hard to show. Let me see if I can you see there? You see, here's the stem. Yeah. And that's the leaf coming out at the side. Think of this as the elbow, like an elbow. And in that little sort of crevice of that elbow, that's where the side shoot comes. So it's not halfway up the stem. That shoot that's coming out is your fruit shoot, it's your flower truss. Don't take that off. It's where you've got your stem and a leaf comes off. Let's pretend this is a leaf, not a shoot. There's your stem, there's your leaf in that angle there. So think of it like an elbow. It's like my arm is the stem, this part of my arm is the leaf. Oh, look, there's the shoot in the elbow. Nip it out, put it in some compost. So I will do that throughout the whole patch. I'll do all of them, gently taking them all out. These will just go in the compost now because I'm not going to be potting them on. The other thing about doing that is what I'm coming on to now with my leaves. I'm going to start at the bottom, which I know you can't see, so I'm going to quickly go through these bottom ones. Pruning the leaves, that's the one at the back. Below my first flower truss, so my first flower truss is here. I will actually eventually strip all these leaves out. Don't need them down there, don't need them. Obviously it needs some leaves, whoopla, to photosynthesize. But it's of a size now where these bottom ones can all, it really is a jungle, they can pretty much all come out. And then just coming a bit further up, I just cut that one in half, so I've left half the leaf there. And this is all about hygiene and air circulation. So, because at the moment they're massively meshed in with each other. There's hardly any room for air to move in there. And I talk about hygiene because this is an issue in terms of blight. So, blight is an airborne spore, and it likes to settle on warm, damp leaves. And once it gets into that plant, it'll rip through and destroy the whole plant. Just do that shoot while I'm here. So I have 2 blight prevention techniques, or at least not so much blight prevention as blight delaying. So I'm pruning my leaves to make sure there's space around the plants. Look, if you've got a big garden and you've got space to have all your tomato plants spaced out, you might leave the side shoots on, you might leave them flopping because there's room for the air. But I don't have that here. So for instance, if I have a summer shower and it's warm, these leaves are going to stay damp for ages, and it's the perfect scenario for blight spores to land and take hold. What will be interesting here is I don't know, certainly not either side of me, I don't know where the nearest tomato plants are to me from here. Obviously when I was on the allotment, I knew where the next tomato plants were. They were either side of me in either plot. And I think all of this is especially important if you're gardening communally in an allotment. A, to prevent it for your own plants, but B, to prevent it or to delay the spread to everybody else's plants too. You'll be unpopular if you get blight and don't do anything about your plants. So, snipping a little bit of excess leafage away, but leaving enough for photosynthesis, getting rid of my side shoots. And then my other thing, I've just seen what's that on the back of that leaf. Oh, it's compost. I thought little black bits. I was like, what's that? I've never seen. It's aphids. I've never seen that on a tomato. It's the lowest leaf. It's touching the soil, and it's because it's touching the soil. It's damp. Because of course that's the other thing. When you're watering, I aim my water at the bottom of each plant, so I don't use a hose pipe. And even when I get a hose pipe, I'll use it to fill my cans, to put the can on to each plant. It's not just indiscriminately wafting a hose everywhere. This is something else to bear in mind with your tomatoes when you're watering them. Get right in underneath and just water at the base of the plant. But you can end up, obviously, water splashes up onto those lower leaves. So they're sort of sitting there damp after you've watered. So removing the lower leaves also helps to prevent any sort of moist sort of splashback from watering. But the final thing, Esther, is my aspirin. So I've got here soluble aspirin, or as it says on the pack, dispersible. This is about a 60p a packet, and there are 16 tablets in here, so that'll do me for 16 years of growing. I obviously used up the last packet, my London packet. Quite simply, they're 300 milligram tablets. Take that out. I'm just going to pop it in this water. It's about half a litre there. I'm not being too fussed about how much water it is. This is a multi-purpose spritz. So this is the one I use sometimes on my linens when I'm pressing linens. We'll wait for that to dissolve. What on earth are you spraying aspirin for, Vivi? Now, I've been doing this for years, so I've sort of forgotten the science a bit, but essentially what I'm doing is, obviously I'm waiting for it to dissolve before I spray it. The tomatoes will all get sprayed with it, and it gives them a bit of a shock. Not enough of a shock to destroy them, but it gives them a bit of a shock, and to cope with this as the plant sort of sees it, it's like an invading pathogen. It mounts an immune response. Rather, it's similar, not exactly the same, it's similar to us having, you know, if we get a bite or a sting, it goes red then, it gets warm. That's as blood rushes into the area carrying with it all those great fighter cells to fight off this pathogen. So it has this shock and releases a hormone, which is its kind of fighting hormone, if you like. and it just helps to strengthen the plant a bit. It won't do it any harm, but it gives the plant a kick up the pants, as it were, to say, come on. Oh, neighbours, I might have to... But yeah, it just gives them enough of a shock to make them release this hormone and be a little bit stronger. I've done this for years and years and years, and the hang on, it's getting so warm. Yeah, so even in years when I had blight at the allotment, what I found was that I was getting it after having done all this spray. So I do this every 2 weeks now throughout the summer, do this aspirin spray, that I did get blight. Like I said, it's not a cure, it doesn't prevent it totally, it just seems to delay it, give the plant enough time to at least get a decent harvest ripened. But I found that I would get blight 4, 5, even 6 or 7 weeks after everybody else. And if we had an early blight, I would be blight free for long enough that I could produce the fruit, it would ripen, and yeah, I'd get a harvest. So that's why I do it. There was one year when actually no, there've been 2 years when I completely forgot to do it, or time just got away from me. One of those years it didn't matter, we didn't have blight on site, great. One year we did have blight and I got it at the same time as everybody else. So this seems to work for me. Right, now, as mentioned, I would normally go through the whole lot doing shoots, then the whole lot doing tying, because otherwise I forget where I'm at. So I'm going to get on with that, get this whole bed, well, get all the tomatoes done, and then rejoin you. We're going to go and look at what care the cukes need. Oh, and also, of course, finish up with giving everything a spray and making this mental note that I'm spraying on the first day of Wimbledon, so that on the day after the finals, that's when I need to spray again. I'm going to put the radio on now. Off you go while I finish this lot. Oh, that's better. Of course now, now I can see some weeds down there. But beans have got a bit of space now. Look, flowers. Flowers. This is the coco de pampol. Le plus belle bean in the whole world. Where did I see that little Tommy fruit? Oh, here we are. Look. Tiny. But it is the end of May. Right, I need to move on to the cucumbers now, get the cucumbers all strung up. I need a bit of shade for a moment. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's such a beautiful day. It's hot, it's sunny, it's bright. This is what I live for. But the great thing about this garden is I have these little, if I go right back, shady spots, so I can go and be in the sun and lap it up as much as I like, and then when I think, okay, you're cooking now, Vivi, come back in the shade. The other great thing, I mean, obviously it's wonderful that I have my own garden again, and a back garden. It was my previous flat, the one that you all know me from, obviously had no garden, but I had the allotment, but it was a walk, a schlep away. The flat before that, I did have a garden, but that was 21 years ago, so, you know, every day I revel in having my own garden again. But let me just show you. Look, no tomato tar, because of course the other thing is, because I mean this is the shower room, hand basin, come up the steps, take a couple of steps across the hall, there I am at the basin to have a wash. It's great that I can come straight in from the back door, go into that shower room, be messy, make a mess, it's fine. That shower room is sort of, it's a shower room come mud room. So beach towels, swimsuit, wetsuit, swimming shoes, whatever, it can all be in there. I can come in, get all my mucky stuff off, dump it in there to deal with later, and then just get on with things. So yes, I've been able to wash all that tomato tar off, and now I'm going to go and tie in those, the cukes. The cukes have gone, it's all gone mad. It's all gone mad since I planted. I'm chuffed. I'll bring you up to date with everything properly. We'll do a little tour. I might film that tomorrow. I'll do a 1st of July tour, which you'll see at the end of July, probably, the way my timings have been. Stop laughing at me. Oh, I think I've spotted where one of the seagulls' nests is. It's just kind of wriggling itself down into it. On the top of an old chimney stack that doesn't have a pot on it anymore. It's a capped chimney, as in it's not working, but it has no pot on it either, and now it's sitting right up there on the edge looking at me. Yeah, I'll get back to work. Alright lovelies, this was a quick one. Tomato cares. Yay, happy tomato cares to you all. Just enjoy that time of being with your plants and making the most of it. And I've just seen something else up the corner of my eye. I've seen a flower on the gigantis bean, the one climbing bean in this garden that I'm growing for seed. I won't be eating any of it, I don't think. One flower. Gigantes don't have many seeds in their pods, beans in their pods. It's a bean that you grow for the bean, not the pod. The pods are really quite tough. Quite a lot of them are twoers. You get 2 beans. Generally they're 3 or 4 beans per pod in my experience. So every flower that's going to become a pod, every single one of them is precious, because I'd like to be able to plant 20 next year. Anyway, distracted. Enjoy your plant time with your plants. Enjoy your outdoor time. Make the most of it whenever you can, if you're an outdoorsy person. And if you like the sunshine like me, oh my goodness, try and grab a few minutes of it every day, because we know what it's like in the UK. Summers can be fleeting. So yeah, make the most of it while you can. Make hay while the sun shines. See you all again soon. Until then, cheerio.